So class, welcome to the second video of the lecture 21. So far we have heard what is this instantaneous power, then average power, then we saw what is this RMS voltage and RMS current, and how we can calculate average power using RMS voltage and RMS current. Then we also learned that how we can calculate the power using the RMS voltage and current in their phasor forms. Okay, so then we studied what is apparent power, what is power factor. Okay, so there is one more term that is coined by the power engineers, so which is called as the complex power. So this complex power, it contains all the information that is related to the power which is absorbed by the load. Okay, so basically this complex power, it is shown by the bold sign S. Okay, we studied the apparent power, it was also represented by the sign S, but it was not the bold sign. Here we are using the bold sign. Okay, so in apparent power was simply apparent power is nothing but the magnitude of the complex power. Okay, that small s that we studied, it is nothing but the magnitude of the complex power. There we don't consider the angles. Okay, so I am saying, suppose we have a circuit. We will learn about this complex power, what is complex power, and how it is helpful in analyzing the power that is absorbed by the circuits, AC circuits. So I am representing a circuit where we have a impedance Z, and we have a voltage source with where the voltage is shown in a phasor form by V, and the current in the phasor form by I. So this voltage phasor V is corresponding to the voltage periodic sinusoid voltage Vt, and this current I, phasor current I, is corresponding to the sinusoid or periodic current It. So V will be nothing but Vm angle theta V, and I will be nothing but Im angle theta I. you know. Now next we know that this complex power is the product of complex conjugate of current and voltage, half of. So S, we are taking S is equal to nothing but 1 by 2 V into I conjugate. Okay, this is a S with the bold sign. S with the bold sign is nothing. If I will solve this, it will be V by root 2, Vm by root 2, Im by root 2. So I will get Vrms into Irms. This we studied. Okay, so I am getting Vrms into Irms conjugate. So I am representing it as equation number A. So what is the phasor Vrms? Phasor Vrms is nothing but Vrms voltage multiplied by angle theta V, and RMS current in phasor form is nothing but simply RMS current angle theta I. Okay, this is the RMS voltage in phasor form. This is the RMS current in phasor form. Okay, so this power, the complex power, it will be nothing but Vrms square, Vrms, simply Vrms into Irms angle theta V minus theta I, because we are taking the complex sign, conjugate sign here. Okay, so it is simply Vrms Irms into theta V minus theta I. Please remember that this Vrms and this Irms, it is not in phasor form. Okay, though these two are in phasor form, and we are substituting these two, this and this, simply for these two. Okay, then I am getting S, complex power, is equal to Vrms Irms into angle theta V minus theta I. So now what I will do, I will convert this from polar form to rectangular form. So what will it happen? It will be Vrms Irms into cos of this angle plus j times Vrms Irms into sine of this angle. So this is the equation, Vrms Irms into cos of theta V minus theta I plus j Vrms Irms sine of theta V minus theta I. Please remember that these Vrms and Irms, this Vrms and Irms, these are not the phasor RMS voltages and currents. Okay, these are simply RMS voltages and currents. So you can see this magnitude of S. Okay, the magnitude of S is the apparent power. Vrms Irms, what is Vrms Irms? It is simply apparent power. Okay, what was apparent power? It was represented by S, though capital S, but it was not a bold sign. Okay, this apparent power is not shown by a bold sign, but however this complex power, it is shown by a bold sign. So the magnitude of this complex power, it is nothing but the apparent power. If you will see here, Vrms Irms is nothing but the magnitude of this S. Okay, so magnitude of this complex power is nothing but apparent power. Okay, and S, therefore S is also measured in volt ampere, because the unit of this apparent power, if you will see, it will be volts, and it is current. So the complex power, it is also measured in volt amperes. Okay, and the angle of the complex power, theta v minus theta I, it is basically what? It is the power factor angle of the circuit. Okay, this theta v minus theta I is nothing but the power factor angle of the circuit. Okay, so the complex power, we can also calculate the complex power. We can also calculate the complex power in terms of the load impedances Z. So this complex power, it can, so we know that Z is nothing but phasor voltage divided by phasor current. Okay, so phasor voltage, instead of phasor voltage and phasor current, I am replacing it by RMS voltage and RMS current in phasor form. Okay, so basically this V is nothing but Vrms divided by root 2, and this I is nothing but Irms divided by root 2. This I is equal to this Irms divided by root 2. Okay, so if you will substitute, you will get Vrms divided by Irms. So if this Vrms and this Irms, it is the phasor voltages, phasor RMS voltage, and this is the phasor RMS current. So representing this phasor RMS voltage and current simply by the RMS voltage and current, I will get Vrms divided by Irms angle theta v minus theta I, because we know that phasor voltage in RMS is nothing but simply RMS voltage angle theta v, and phasor current in RMS is nothing but simply RMS current angle theta I. So as it is the division, so it will be theta v minus theta I. So what will be Vrms here? Vrms in phasor form, it will be nothing but current in phasor form, RMS current in phasor form multiplied by the impedance Z. So I will substitute this in equation A. Here we have the equation A. So I am substituting Vrms is equal to Irms into Z. So I have Irms and Irms conjugate. Okay, so if you have these two conjugates, so what will you get? Irms will be nothing but Irms angle theta I, and Irms conjugate is nothing but Irms. I'm saying this, that RMS current in phasor form. RMS current in phasor form is nothing but simply Irms angle theta I. So what will be Irms in conjugate in phasor form? It will be simply Irms angle theta I. So take the product of these two. It will be nothing but Irms into Irms. This is theta I minus theta I. It will be 0. This is minus theta I. Theta I minus theta I will be 0. So you will be left with Irms square, which is nothing but Irms. Okay. So it will be Irms square into Z. So if you will substitute Irms is equal to Vrms divided by Z, and you will substitute this Irms in equation A, you will get S is equal to Vrms square divided by Z conjugate. And if you will take simply Vrms and Irms, you will get S is equal to Vrms into Irms conjugate in phasor form. So we also know that Z is nothing but R plus Jx. It will have some resistive part and some reactive part. Okay, so what will be this according to this equation we have here now? S is equal to Irms square into Z. Okay, what will be this? It will be Irms square. Wait a minute. Yes, it will be Irms square into R plus Jx. Z is this. So it will be Irms square into R will be P, and Irms square into X will be Q, because P is the real and Q is the imaginary part. So we can see that this P and Q, they are the real and the imaginary part of the complex power S. Okay, so I can write P as the real part of S and Q as the imaginary part of S. Here I am writing it. So P is equal to Irms square R, and Q is equal to Irms square into X. Okay, you can see that this real power P, it is real, or we can also say it is average power. And this power, it will depend upon the resistance, load resistance R, and it is this power which is doing useful work or actual work in the circuit. Okay. However, the imaginary power Q, it depends upon the circuit reactance X. Okay. So this Q, it is basically, it is a measure of the energy exchange that is taking place between the source and the load. This is not the useful power. This is the useful power. So this is the energy that is being first supplied from the source to the reactive component, maybe inductor or capacitor, in one cycle, and in the next in the positive cycle, and in the negative cycle, this power is this power is supplied back from the this reactive component to the load, means from the capacitor or inductor back to the load. Okay, so the unit of Q, we say that the unit of Q will be VAR, so that we can distinguish this power from this real power. So VAR means volt ampere reactive, because it is a reactive power. So that is why we are labeling it by units of Q are VAR, that means volt ampere reactive. Okay. So from 10 11, okay, yeah. So we can say that this Q, we can have three conditions here. Now S is equal to P plus JQ, we can have three conditions. The first condition is when Q is 0. So when Q is 0 means, what means? That means the circuit is purely resistive. Okay, and the power factor is equal to unity. Okay. Second case, I am saying that when Q is greater than 0. Okay, if Q is less than 0 here. First case, Q equal to 0, unity power factor, purely resistive load. Second case, I am saying when Q is less than 0. Q less than 0 means leading power factor, means capacitive load. Okay, so means because capacitor, it supplies power, it will supply reactive power, so Q will be obviously less than 0, because the system is not supplying power now. Now in the third case, if Q is greater than 0, if Q is greater than 0, we are saying that power factor is lagging and load is inductive. This is the inductive load. Okay, so it can be shown from here as well. Okay, yeah, I'm saying if Q is less than 0, less than 0 means Q is negative. What do you mean by Q negative? If Q is less than 0 means Q is negative. Q negative means the circuit is supplying power to the source. Okay, that means leading power factor. And when this Q is positive, Q greater than 0, when Q is greater than 0, third case, greater than 0 means positive. So when this is positive means the circuit is absorbing power from the source. Okay, Q positive means circuit is absorbing reactive power from the source. So means that is the lagging power factor condition. Okay, so means lagging power factor condition means inductive. So you have to keep it in mind that the inductor, it will draw power from the load, from the source. Inductor will draw power from the source, and the capacitor will supply power to the source. Which power? Reactive power. Okay, now this we are saying that the complex power VA units are volt ampere, is the product of RMS voltage, phasor voltage, and complex conjugate of RMS current phasor. Okay, so its real and imaginary components, and its real and imaginary components are P and Q respectively. So let us see what information we are getting from complex power. So complex power represented by bold sign S is nothing but P plus JQ, which is nothing but VRMS, RMS voltage in phasor form, multiply by IRMS, RMS current in phasor form, its conjugate. Okay, so if I will take this, Vrms is nothing but magnitude of Vrms into magnitude of Irms into angle theta V minus theta I. Okay, so what was apparent power? As I am saying that apparent power was nothing but the magnitude of the complex power. Okay, so what is the magnitude of the complex power here? It is simply Vrms into Irms. So S is nothing but Vrms into Irms. So if you know that Vrms into Irms is the magnitude of the complex power, and you also know that complex power is P plus JQ. So what will be the magnitude here? Magnitude will be nothing but under root P square plus Q square. So we'll be write this as equal to under root P square plus Q square. Okay. So next is real power. Real power is nothing but the real component of this. Okay, which is P. So I can say that P is nothing but this Vrms into Irms is S cos theta V minus theta I, and Q is the imaginary power or reactive power, which is imaginary component of S, which is S sin theta V minus theta I. And what is power factor? Power factor is given by P upon S, which is equal to cos of theta V minus theta I. So if you can see how many terms are there in this complex power. In complex power we have first this complex or apparent power, because apparent power is a magnitude of complex power. So first is complex power or apparent power, the second is real power, the third is reactive power, and the fourth is power factor. Okay, so I am saying first I will discuss about the power triangle. What is power triangle? So I am saying, suppose this is my active power P, this is my reactive power Q. So P plus Q, okay, so this is means 90 degree. Now J means 90 degree. P plus Q is nothing but S. Okay, this is theta, which is equal to theta V minus theta I. So this is called as power triangle. So next is impedance triangle. Suppose P, we know that P is the power that is absorbed by the load resistor R. So this will be R. So this is the power that is absorbed by the reactive component X. So this is X and this will be Z. So theta here and this theta, they will be equal. Okay. So because this P is the power that is absorbed by the resistor, Q is the power that is absorbed absorbed by the reactor, and this is Z. Okay, and because under root of R square plus X square is equal to Z, so this will give you Z. So this triangle is called as the impedance triangle, and this triangle is called as power triangle. Now, depending upon if the load is leading or lagging, it will depend that if this theta, this S, it will remain in the first quadrant or fourth quadrant. So I told you that if we know the four quantities, we have four quantities: apparent or complex power, real power, reactive power, and power factor. If we know two out of these four, if we know any two quantities, we can calculate the third quantity easily, other two quantities easily. Suppose I will draw this here again, this power triangle in a this real and imaginary axis, because we know that P is the real and Q is the imaginary power. So suppose I am saying that this is my real axis and this is my imaginary axis. Hope you are able to watch it. This is my real axis and this is imaginary axis. So P is always on the real axis. So suppose I am saying this is my active power P. This. Okay. So here I think I have committed a mistake. Yes, it should be lagging and this is leading. Again I am drawing it here. Suppose I am saying that Q is positive. Q positive means greater than 0. Okay. Q greater than 0. Positive means this side. Q is on the imaginary. This is Q positive, greater than 0. So this means lagging load. So means inductive type of load. So what will be S? S will be this. This will be S. And this will be angle. This will be theta V minus theta I. Okay. This is for lagging power factor. For leading power factor means that current is leading the voltage. That means the leading load. And for leading power factor, for example, capacitor, so Q is negative. So Q negative means Q will come in the, here Q is in the first quadrant, here Q will come in the minus Q. Q will come in the fourth quadrant. This is the first quadrant. This is the second quadrant. This will be third quadrant and this will be fourth. So S will appear in the fourth quadrant. Here S. And this angle here, it will be theta V minus theta I. So this is the lagging power factor condition and this is the leading power factor condition. Okay. So yes, this is it about the power triangle. So you know that this S is in the, when S is in the first quadrant, that means capacitive load, that we have a capacitive load. Okay. Sorry, inductive load, because Q is positive, inductive load. So when S is in the fourth quadrant, so that means that it is minus Q, means it is leading power factor. Leading power factor means this is the case of a capacitor, because current is leading the voltage in this case. So I think that is it for today's lecture. So thank you very much.